hard as it may sound, the gods, or God, or whatever you call it, that humanity, cultures throughout the world have constructed, have created, speculated, theorized, conceptualized, all of it was constructed in humanity's own image.
Part 1. Naskarism.
Lend a hand, not hashtag. Trigger action, not attention. Stir up lives, not likes. Be the change, not the caption.
So 8 months ago, I posted a video briefly explaining who Mr. Abhijit Naskar is. I showed some embarrassing hashtags on some of his older reels, such as actress life, model, and celebrity. If you look at his reels now, the hashtags are gone, with a note that says he edited his caption 8 months ago when my video came out. Unfortunately, though Abby made changes to his captions, he hasn't made any changes to his behavior. So I'd like to go over 3 of his hashtags and how they relate to his downfall. Hashtag actor's life. As an actress, Abby is accustomed to playing different roles depending on who's watching. In our messages about religion, Abby acted as though the Quran says something it doesn't. That, quote, Muslims should help their neighbors rebuild their churches, synagogues, and monasteries if they burn down. In reality, the verse says, quote, had Allah not repelled the aggression of some people by means of others, destruction would have surely claimed monasteries, churches, synagogues, and mosques in which Allah's name is often mentioned. Allah will certainly help those who stand up for Him. However, in his social media, Abby acted as though he wished for the destruction of churches, synagogues, and mosques. Hashtag yoga. According to the Bhagavad Gita, quote, yoga is linking oneself with the Supreme, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. Although Abby disqualifies himself from becoming a yogi by saying, quote, denial of the self accomplishes nothing, he still makes great attempts to link himself with the Supreme. Here we see Abby photoshopping himself next to a fake Jesus with the title, World Teachers. In this image, Abby says, quote, Jesus recognized that God within him and became Christ. So did I. Hashtag racism. Many of Abby's beautifully humane and tolerant sonnets demonstrate his fixation on race, a common trait we see in racists. The hatred in his sonnets are more specifically directed at straight white Christian men. In this recent video, we can see he has a particularly high view of black women and an extreme prejudice against white men.
If anthropology is anything to go by, and if there is a God, then it should be a black woman, not a white, bearded, patronizing male git. Because the only entity who could be considered the origin of the human race is a black woman. Not Adam, but Eve, a black Eve. But then again, considering all the massacres, genocide, persecution, and downright mindlessness, perhaps God is indeed a white guy.
Watch how elated he is to be in the presence of his God.
Think about this. If you are entitled to your opinion, if anybody is entitled to their opinion, right to freedom or freedom of speech, the so-called freedom of speech. If somebody is entitled to freedom of speech, which means they can say anything they want and they can express anything they want publicly, regardless of consequences, which means
No, they can't.
no.
You can't.
Why?
you have
Freedom of
the,
speech.
because where your right starts, where your right ends, another person's begins. So even if you have the right to say whatever you want to say, you have the right to hold opinions, you have the freedom of speech. At the same time, you can't say things that will affect someone else. So
And
if
how are
you
we going to
if you're in,
stop that? How are we going to stop that?
how are we going to
Ensure that.
stop? And that's why you have laws. So like even in the Nigerian constitution.
Part 2. Schizophrenia. As a self-proclaimed neuroscientist, Abby would know that anyone can experience psychotic episodes, but his just happened to be posted on social media more often. In this image, Abby begins by claiming to not know the truth about God, and ends by making a truth claim that God is a figment of the imagination. In this image, Abby says, quote, "All women are my sisters, and their problems are my problems. Brother Abby, what if you are my problem?" In this image, Abby boldly claims, quote, "Baseball builds more character than Bible." That would explain why half your sonnets are about baseball. Peace happens when we happen. Yes, Abby. So brave. Praying 5 times a day does not make a person religious. Helping 5 people does. Isn't that what the Bible says? Poverty is a capitalist invention. World hunger is a Western byproduct. Really? Huh. Although Abhijit is from Kolkata, India, the scammer hotspot of the world, he made a very patriotic sonnet yesterday about the 4th of July.
Time to sell 4th of July sonnet. It takes hundreds of years of social progress to celebrate 4th of July. We've made tremendous strides. We've been to the moon and back. America is free and brave, where law, religion overcome. We stand today. We have cause for celebration. The 4th of July. Liberty is our First Amendment, our right. A sonnet by Abhijit Naskar.
One of Abhijit's most famous quotes is, "Give me a pen and I'll give you peace." He makes it sound so easy, so I thought I'd give it a try.